Hello SUMC, Rob here reporting in from one of SUMC's satellite offices with some more thoughts and another friendly check-in to continue to hope you're safe and well and to encourage you to stay in touch. Choir directors are always keeping tabs on their group's numbers, always, and keeping track of their individual singers. We look around at rehearsals or on Sunday mornings and we think, okay, this person and this person, they're not here, but I know where they are. They're traveling on business, or they're attending to family business, or they're ill, or they're wherever they are. And 9 times out of 10, it's a legitimate reason to be away. Actually, 99 times out of 100. This past week, though, I got to experience another church musician thing, and that is something that is driven by the demographics of your average church choir since the dawn of time. That demographic is, we're on the gray side. I was weird. I was a church choir member here at Sudbury when I was a sophomore in high school. I was 100% the youngest person in the room. I am now usually the second youngest, and look at me. And my dear sister now holds that youngest person title. So we are keenly aware, even if it's usually as a background awareness, of the likelihood that, well, let's just say that none of us will be in this choir forever. Last week, that was brought home to us. When I was a high school age member of SUMC's choir, I usually had between 8 and 10 other basses, it was a different time, surrounding me, pointing me in the right direction, helping me to grasp important choir participation concepts. These included singing and reading music and keeping my stole straightened around my neck. But it also included enjoying the experience and being friendly and making funny jokes, even when the choir director would prefer we not do that. And Bob Canfield was among that cloud of basses. The man with that firm southern accent, the man of 1,000 laconic and appropriately funny remarks, the man who stood the least physically tall amongst this pack of mischievous and caring bass singers. He and I routinely checked in with each other, then and in the intervening about 40 years, about singing and choir, but also about college football and college bands and college hoops, especially when his beloved Memphis Tigers hired some obscure fella named John Calipari as coach after Calipari had coached at my alma mater. He appeared to have no problem whatsoever with singing in a choir directed by a fellow who he used to mentor pretty heavily. He was not always comfortable with the styles or sometimes the ridiculous level of musical challenge of the occasional SUMC choir anthem, but he always took a mighty swing at them. He was reliably present, over and over. I can imagine that his Air Force training told him a little something about commitment, but I can also imagine that this would have been a characteristic of his anyway. In any case, the bass section has been reliably populated by Bob since the Reagan administration, which was partly why, but not wholly why, his sudden passing came as such a shock last Wednesday. Suddenly, last Thursday evening, he was not perched on the back pew of the choir room, and suddenly, Sunday morning, I looked over and I saw Greg and Samuel, but I did not see Bob. And intellectually, I knew this would be the case, since I'm a choir director who is keenly aware of numbers and individuals. Nonetheless, it was very odd and unhappy. By the way, this is kind of a postscript. Yes, I was also aware of the passing of Phil Lenentine last week, and early this week we got word that Sophia Harrell had passed away. Both of those were one-time, long-time members of SUMC's choir. And yes, I will talk about Phil and Sophia soon. But I always consider the curious dichotomy in musical ensembles. An ensemble is a group, but always comprised of individuals, who each deserve a spotlight of their own, or at least some undivided attention. So yes, next week some thoughts about Phil, and after that, about Sophia. But for now, Godspeed to the gentleman we in choir world liked to call Billy Bob. Sir, we'll see you again